are we rolling?
All right, down we go.
This is Radio Tetris International, Postcard from Poprad.
I think it's a bizarre idea.
Well, it doesn't sound broken.
We've had a bit of a rewind.
Ian, I've got something to say. I was waiting for my moment.
Lee and I have lots of fun when we do these funny little things that we do.
In all honesty, I don't get
It'll
it.
be like a menage a trois.
I'm actually sitting here in my scanties.
Now see what you've done, Rachel.
I've got to tell you, though, it's pretty hilarious.
Oh, right.
Absolutely not. It's because you mended the studio and you broke everything.
What an idiot.
RTI.
That'll be us then. Radio Tetris International, Postcard from Poprad. And I'm just doing stuff as I do on a Friday. I nearly said a Wednesday then for that. No, don't go back to Wednesday, Eric, for goodness sake. We've got people... I'll just go and look in the green room. Yeah, Dave's wiggling his little finger, which means he must be awake. JB, he's sitting upright like a true professional. He doesn't know you lot can't hear him at the minute, but he can hear me on the talkback. Hi to everybody on you now. To people coming in on, what's that other one called? Facebook, that'll be the one. And in the middle of all that lot is Lee.
Hello.
Hello.
Ask me how I am.
Why?
Because I've been poorly.
Oh, he's
No,
poorly.
my head swelled up like Frank's side bottom.
Oh, we got to say hello to Andre. Hello, Andre.
Hello, Andre. Are you interested in the fact my head swelled up like Frank's side bottom?
I don't think he is. No, it's Andreas. Sorry, Andreas. Hello.
Hello, Andreas.
I got
My head
that all
swelled
wrong,
up like Frank's side bottom, you know.
Nobody seems to care. Who else have we got on here? Let's have a look at some of the other folks. All the Rocks. What's that then?
All the Rocks?
All the Rocks.
Does that mean diamonds? All
Could
uses
be.
kicks you for
Amar's here, as his buddy, and Breno, and Braxy. God,
Braxy?
all the bees, all the bees.
Who's Braxy? I reckon it was a bee that stung me that made me head swell up like
I
Frank's
think
side bottom.
you could be right. Today we've got a special programme. We're looking at electric vehicles. Oh, shut up. But before we do that, very quickly, John
McKirrick.
McKirrick has died.
Yeah, probably the ugliest man on telly.
Mr. Tic-Tac-Toe.
Mr. Tic-Tac-Toe, yeah.
Yes.
He, with the funny hats and the funny hair and all the gold and oh, God, it sounds like me, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does rather,
And,
doesn't it?
yeah, anyway, he's died. That's sad, isn't it?
Easily.
sad.
Christopher Brooker, the journalist who
He's
started,
dead.
was first editor of Private Eye. He's gone as well. Somebody who hasn't died is Steve. He says good afternoon.
Hello, Steve. My head's swollen up, you know, Steve.
You're right. Deanna, is it Diana or Deanna?
Deanna.
Deanna?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
Henderson.
Oh, God, no, it's Diana Henderson. Sorry, I think it was Diana Durbin.
Oh, he's such a numpty.
I'm not well.
Gary says, good morning, Eric. No, it's afternoon here, mate. From a sunny, warm Bury St Edmunds Street.
It should be buried.
Oh, no, Bury St Edmunds is wonderful.
Yeah, Bury St
Edmunds is wonderful because they make amazing beer there in the old brewery.
Which, where?
Bury St Edmunds, Green King.
Green King's rubbish. Green
Aber
King.
Ale is wonderful.
It tastes like an old dead bird.
Yeah, right. Anne Neeland, the actress who appeared in Jailhouse Rock and with some
that Elvis person.
Z-list celebrity.
Yeah, that Elvis person.
The Z-list celebrity.
Elvis.
Yeah, Z-list celebrity. Oh, I've got Dave on. He probably remember the time we got into trouble over that.
Oh, no, he can't tell it. You've not told it for a week.
I can't tell that story now. Anyway, as we lead, this is what you call a DJ cliche link.
Yeah.
Because hello Isra, that's Ira Ahmad Chowdhury.
Hello, Isra.
Good afternoon, Isra. Where are you from, Isra? Be nice to know. Pakistan. There you go. That was quick. Gosh, that was quick.
I've actually been to Pakistan. It's lovely. Well, I've been on the border where old people walk funny.
Yeah, right. Leading in, I'm going to try and do this properly.
Go on, do it properly.
Thank you very much.
Go on,
leading into our electronic EV vehicle special, news today, Jaguar Land Rover is expected to announce plans to build a new electric car in the UK. It really is a big, big boost, considering that Ford, Nissan and Honda are all sort of cutting back. Now, this new EV will be the electronic version of the Jaguar XJ. which kind of flies in the face of everything for me. The main investment will be in the Castle Bromwich factory, and the batteries are being made in Hams Hall in Warwickshire. So it's a huge boost to Castle Bromwich and Hams Hill, with the Unite Union said at the time of the deal that eventually cut back the hours at one point to secure the future of Castle Bromwich, has worked, and it's paved the way for future investment. Blimey, the Unite Union, very clever.
Good thing, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
great.
looking forward to discussing electronic vehicles.
We are getting close to it, but they are using dry cell technology. I don't know. We'll find out in a minute, Steve.
Who said that?
Young
Steve man again.
My buddy Jerry Powell's there. Hello, Jerry.
Hello, Jerry.
What a nice man.
He's a lovely man. I've never heard of him.
Well, you probably haven't.
I probably haven't. Yes, you're quite
No, because you might have heard of him under a pseudonym.
What's his pseudonym?
Jerry, what was your pseudonym on Radio Caroline? I can't remember. What did you use? It's gone. Anyway, a quick plug for two men in an electric car, sort of.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce them straight. Well, it's none other than the most important person of all is JB. Hello, John.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Hello, John.
And
Hello.
and I have to say thank you, John, for finding that reprobate on a street corner,
Dave.
picking him up, putting him in your electric car, and giving him something useful to do in his life.
Oh, God. I mean, it'd be impossible with that, Dave. He's head of graphics for the video. He's head of scripting. Oh, God. I mean, I couldn't do it without him.
Could you not?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I'll have to talk to you about that. That's it. Tony Kirk was Jerry's name on Radio Caroline. Thanks, Jerry.
Still never heard of him.
Oh, shut up. Duriden Eva. Eva's there as well.
Hello, Eva.
Yeah,
Thank you for liking the story about Roman.
There's a good girl. So the other Oppo, well, the other.
Don't
half,
be rude about him. He's a nice
Dave?
man.
Do you know what the problem is? Don't you?
What?
We've agreed on two things this week.
I know, but we're not agreed on electronic cars yet.
With Dave Rhodes, I've agreed with two.
Oh, him.
I'm having a bad week.
Oh,
hello, Dave.
Don't agree with him.
Hello,
It just
sir.
ruins
How are you?
everything.
I'm all right, but I'm really having a bad week.
Oh, well, I gathered that. Yeah, we both agreed on something. Well,
Nice.
two things this week, so God knows.
For an audio engineer, you've got rubbish audio.
He's so rude, isn't he, Dave?
He is, and I blame the company I work at because I'm at the office.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon to Dennis as well. Nice to have you with us. Thank you, Dennis, for nice words. Now, come on, you two. What's all this daft programme about an electric vehicle for?
Go on, John, explain all.
I thought you were going to jump in there, but no. It's we just decided, because I bought a car last year, and I wanted to find out what it was like to be, owning an electric car, how cheap it was, all the kind of usual routine. And Dave and I have been making videos for God knows how long. We thought, well, what happens if we put two blokes in a car with totally separate, different views? Dave being the petrol head, I'm quite keen on EVs, and just
Quite keen?
Yeah. I just have a go at each other, see what happens.
they're
But it
arguing
seems to
already.
work quite well, I think.
God. Blimey, this is going to be
Excuse me,
good.
that's our job.
Yeah. Well, actually, can you two just carry on?
We'll go for a coffee.
We're going to have a cup of tea.
Yeah, come on, Dave.
Yeah, okay, well...
Round one.
Round one.
Hey, hold on, we'll do it properly. Ding, ding, ding. Round one.
Is
Right.
that the best you can do for sound effects?
Yeah, I'm cheap.
He's another rude one.
I know.
Blinking heck. Have you all heard about my swollen head? Aren't you worried about that? My petrol head is swollen.
That's worrying.
Yeah, he's rather, isn't he? Right, back to the plot.
Back to the plot. One thing JB hasn't said, he used to be a petrol head. He had a BMW motorbike for years. I've known him 15 years. He had this BMW motorbike. He kept buying new ones. He was pumping lots of petrol and everything into the atmosphere. And then he suddenly went and traded it in for an EV.
Yeah.
And we all went in the
Absolutely.
morning.
But I'd like to say, I do love big cars. Dave often takes me off to big shows with large V8s, and I love the American car. The kind of serious point is, it'd be really nice if just little small journeys when you don't really need a big car, you could, drive an electric car and potentially keep some of the.
That's a very sensible
I think our
point.
kids might like to breathe when we're dead.
I think that's kind of, isn't it?
No,
Hang on, he's just done something sensible on Postcard from Poprad.
can I just say something?
Whoa!
One of the attacks I was going to make on electronic cars, because I don't really have a lot of respect for them, because I see a lot of problems, is the fact that you can't actually go on a long journey. Like Dave, drive a big American car, and I can go for hundreds and thousands of miles in it without 3 miles to the gallon. But if I had an electronic car, I'd have to stop every 150 yards to recharge it.
Depends on which car, though. Depends on which car. Tesla's 300 miles is the sort of range.
Yeah, but buy a Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. Or a new Kia e-Niro. You're talking about 260.
Really? Well, Steve's actually on your side, I think, John, because he says electric equivalent of £80 worth of fuel is £5. No brainer.
Is that a real fact, Steve? Because we know you're not very good up on facts.
No, we'll ask John. John, is that right?
Say again. I had a dip out suddenly there.
All
What
right.
happened?
He said the equivalent of £80 worth of fuel is £5. Is that right?
Well, I kind of work on a rule of about a third.
Okay.
So in my big diesel 2-litre car that I had before this, I would put in about something like 60 odd pounds every couple of weeks in diesel, and the equivalent in the electric car is something like it's a third of that really. But so it is much cheaper. And actually, the number of times I rock up at a Ecotricity point at a motorway service station and it's on free vend.
No.
How many times have you been to a fuel station when they've said, no, just help yourself, guys. Fill up, fill your boots. And it's happened many, many times. I've done whole journeys to Cambridge and back from the South Coast and been not charged at all. So it does happen occasionally.
All right. A few messages in before we carry on. Jerry says, I'm often out on Fridays, but thought I would tune in and see what mischief you could get up to, Eric.
He knows
Me! Innocent little me. And the lovely Lee Howard's having a listen-in. Isn't that nice?
That's nice.
We like Lee. He's a very clever
Hello,
man.
Lee.
Actually, we're going to do something with
We're going to do, Lee. My colleague from the Consumer Watch Foundation is going to give you a call. And I said it first today, not you.
13 minutes.
13 minutes.
13 minutes.
Now,
but have you read your own story, Dave and John, about plug for 2 men in an electronic car? That was in the Consumer Watch Foundation.
Yes.
That's made
Thank
you
you
famous.
very much.
all right, okay. The thing I would say, John, is I kind of get a little bit of what you said about the short journey thing.
Yeah.
But there's always this temptation to go on a sort of slightly longer journey when you're out. And that's where I think, I kind of thinking that electric cars are still 20 years away.
They've got to be.
Well, I think they're nearer than that, really. I mean, at the rate they're going at the moment, the new models coming out this year, Peugeot, there's even a Skoda, brand new Honda, first time Honda. The Honda E, that's this year. There's loads coming out. You watch the press. I mean, it's going to go nuts, and they're properly good. 200+ mile ranges. We just got to do it.
Yeah, I get that, but let's pretend I'm on a racing track now, because one wouldn't do this on the road, and I go from. I typically run my car on normal, not eco, and I turn it on to sport mode. It racks up 220 horsepower in a car that weighs as much as a matchbox, and when you hit the gas, your head thumps into the seat, the headrest behind you, and you get this rush of adrenaline. And I still have some people, or someone I need to find to convince me I'm going to have that same experience in an electric car.
Very good.
I think you're going to have it and more. Did you see Top Gear when they did the Model 3
The last
Tesla
thing you'd
run?
watch is Top Gear.
No.
Oh, well, I'm not surprised you don't watch it, actually. It's lost a bit of its thing. But anyway, I think they put it against some enormous AMG Mercedes. And that is the thing about an electric car. The torque from those electric motors gives you instant power. You put your foot on the gas, it literally goes.
Yeah.
Even that little leaf parked outside.
No, I get that, John, because my car's got a kinetic turbo as well as a petrol one. So I get instantaneous well, I wouldn't say it's instantaneous, but it's very close.
Yeah.
And when you get to what I see as 3,000 RPM on the dashboard, which isn't relevant to obviously the electric motor, that particular point, you are sitting there like a rally driver going eep, 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 through 6 gears, and that is just such a rush, you know.
Oh, and it should never stop. You know, as I said, I think, you know, I love a big V8, just like the next person. I think they're great. It's just that when you go into town, into central London, certainly, it's just, you can't breathe in there, you know, and we've got to do something. So I'm sorry to be too sensible, but I totally agree. If you love a big classic American machine, that should be not stopped at all. And that rush, I know you can't really get it. It's the noise too. That's the thing about electric cars. You don't get the noise with an electric car.
Hang on, John, just stop you there a minute. A couple of hellos. Hello to Charles Burrows, OBE, don't you know? Don't you know? The young Paul Rustling's checking in for duty as well. Actually, he's reporting for duty. And Mitchell Davis, he thinks that electric cars are something like 5 years away.
Well,
I think they'll be very common by then.
You do?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I'm still not sold, guys.
Can I ask 3 questions?
No, hang on. And let me tell you why I'm not sold.
Go on, then.
I am, today, I would probably, if I had to go to Bratislava, our capital city here, I would probably take the train because it's faster. And it's about 75% less than using a car. So and now we've got a proper international airport about 10 minutes from my house. My average kilometres per annum is about 3,000 to 4,000 kilometres, which is about 2,500 to 3.25 thousand miles, which is absolutely nothing. In fact, sometimes my dashboard comes on and says, you need to go for a run to charge your kinetic battery up or it'll be flat. So which I have to do because I don't do any mileage at all. So I guess I am a good candidate for an electric vehicle. But I don't know, maybe if they put the sound effects of a V8 in there, it might entice me.
Read the Consumer
Yes,
Watch
that's what I
Foundation,
said.
it tells you about it.
Oh, right, okay. Can't be here and doing that at the same time.
Doesn't it, John and Dave? We tell people that actually there is legislation being brought in where you have to now have a sound coming out of your electronic car because electronic cars keep running over pedestrians because they can't hear them.
And
Yeah,
it's the truth.
It's the same with cyclists, isn't it? People step out. I cycle into London, and people step out in front of me, and I think, God, because they've all got earplugs in, haven't they? So they can't hear you coming. But no, it's a good point. And up to about 12 miles an hour, they're going to bring in a noise. So, hey guys, what do you think? What should we do? What would the sound be? What sound would you have if you had an electric car and under 12 miles an hour you had to have a sound? What would you have?
V8 Mustang.
Oh, I agree. Can I have one of them? If you got the effect, send it to me. I'll have one of those.
Right.
Can I have stampeding elephants?
Oh, no. I love this from Mitchell. Remember the old milk floats? They were electric.
Yeah.
Chug, 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 chug
That's
down the
what
road.
you try.
First I was waiting for the milk float analogy.
Go on,
Fantastic. We got it. How many minutes in? 19 minutes in.
Go on.
First question, why did
It
they
always
make up
comes
the
up.
cars?
Why does it always come up?
People ask it. It's one of the criticisms. It's like they can't go very far. They're very expensive, and they're a milk float, aren't they? Basically, there's always that. Yeah. No, the tech's a little bit further advanced by now. I mean, how many cars can you actually sit in your house and turn on the heating and check the range in the battery? Fantastic.
Well, that makes a
Not a lot.
difference, doesn't it?
Oh, Alan says V8 Mustang. Hell yes. We like him.
But why would you
Have
have
a-
a
have a
V8
Mr.
Mustang
Softy.
coming out of a Skoda?
Yeah, under 12 miles an hour, that'd be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. As long as the pedestrians don't get run over, that's the main thing.
Dave, what was the
Mitchell
sound?
got.
What was the sound of the ice cream van, Dave?
Well, it was just like a Blinky Blonky tune, wasn't it? So
How'd it go, Dave?
I don't know. You got that sound effect here. I'm not in a studio. You are. I've just read here. Mitchell nearly got run over by a tram in Manchester. So evidently they're not very, very noisy either.
No, but actually, John, I've got to tell you this story. I remember being with somebody who was besotted by electric vehicles. Besotted.
Yeah?
Yeah, really. He was absolutely besotted by these... the penny's just dropped. By these electric vehicles. In the capital city of Latvia, i.e. Riga, and he goes, "Oh, look, there's trolley buses. I've got to take some pictures of them." And he did. That's all he did was take pictures of electric vehicles all
I know
week.
who you mean now as well.
He's gone
Not
quiet.
driving one, then.
No, he wasn't allowed to drive one. Well, he could have done, actually, because we did know the ministers and things at the time.
Was he allowed sharp objects?
Still not, I'm afraid.
No. But it was
Who is
okay.
these days?
We went and played with some ludicrously energy-eating transmitters after that, so we made up for it. John, I still need you to sell this thing to me, and I'm a prime candidate.
So what would be key then? Would it be for you? Would it be cost, or
No.
is it just range, or is it performance? I mean, or is it sound? I mean, it really has that. They're the kind of main key things. But the underlying thing is, of course, there's no exhaust pipe, so it can't pollute the atmosphere.
No, there is that to it. The trouble with me is, or as Mr. Banks said one day, you should be arrested for your driving. Which is probably true.
James, actually.
He should have just been arrested, actually.
Yeah, just arrested. This might give you a clue because you're a biker. Because of bad bones in my bodies, I'm now on a trike, John. But I've got a 1300cc Beetle trike. So it's a Beetle.
Oh, fabulous.
Beetle at the back, Triumph at the front. Now, that to me, when it starts up with its straight through exhaust and it burbles, that to me is just glorious. Now, when the car starts up, when you look at the standard model, it's got an exhaust pipe the size of a garden hose pipe, whereas the one on my car, standard fitted by the factory, is like the size of a milk bottle. It's huge. And when it kicks off, sometimes when Petra, my PA, drives down the road, I actually open the window and have a listen to it because it's got such a glorious. You can hear it. It's actually going, "Go on, floor me," because it's like that. And when you floor it, and I wouldn't say I drive. No, I don't drive fast in towns. I'm quite good at that these days. But if I want to get out of trouble in a difficult situation with say somebody trying to double overtake when I'm overtaking, I won't brake. I'll gas it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, I mean, if you're a candidate for rapid acceleration, I'm sure a Tesla would be right up your street. Actually, it'd be fantastic.
But let's you're talking about Teslas. Teslas are really good-looking cars. Nobody can deny it.
Have you seen the new one?
I've seen one. It's Starry Smoker thing.
No. Have you seen the new Tesla?
Which one?
Are we talking the Y or the 3?
I'm talking about the 150 grand one. But the point I'm trying to get across is we've talked about economy, we've talked about distance, we've talked about noise. But the one thing we haven't talked about, and this matters to a lot of men, including me, and actually including him sitting here, is the look of the vehicles. They look like big girl cars. There isn't a manly looking electronic car for less than £150,000. The Jaguar new one looks like a load of rubbish.
Oh, actually,
And I know why. Do you know why, though?
That's what I'm asking.
The penny dropped when I was looking at them not so long ago. It's because they don't have a radiator grille.
Yeah.
When you look at a car, they look like a face. And they don't have a grill, so they look like an odd face, and that's the problem.
What an interesting point. But they're also very small. My car is gigantic. It doesn't have milk bottles for exhaust. It has 2 cannons at the back. But it's gigantic, and I liked it because I'm 6'5" and 18 stone. I like to drive a big car. What electronic car is going to drag me around looking with what I like, a bit of American aplomb? There isn't one.
Actually, I've got a serious point here, guys, that Steve's mentioned. Talking of the noise of cars. He said it's better that they're quiet because as a blind person, I get more information from the tyre noise than the engines.
that's an interesting point.
That's a very good point, mate. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, good point.
And look at the Model 3. Why?
Which Model 3?
The Tesla.
Yeah.
I only,
Actually,
genuinely, I've only seen the big Tesla. I saw one last week, and it was gorgeous, but you couldn't hear it coming.
If you get a chance, pull up the picture of the new Rivian. The Rivian there's a truck version of it and an SUV, big. Now that's pretty. I think that's a nice looking piece of kit.
Actually, to be honest, John, there's a prototype about an hour away from here at the Scania factory near us, which is now driving around Slovakia. It's a full-blown truck, huge, great, long Pantechnicon thing, and it carries the same loads as other trucks, and that is an electric vehicle.
But if you have an electric vehicle, if it's big, does it use more electricity?
I don't know. Let's ask John.
That's what I've just asked.
Oh, well,
yeah, it will. Absolutely. Of course it will. But it's kind of... how to describe it? It's really about the battery size, and they put a battery in there big enough to give you the range. I'll tell you what the other thing is, and this probably won't suit you too much, but in the sense that you've got to modify your driving style a bit. If you know, whereas in an ordinary petrol car, you can sort of jump in it, know you're going to get 300 miles or so at the tank. In an electric car, you do have to be a bit careful with, keep off the gas if you really want the extra range.
What is the average range, John?
Again, if you're in the car that I would buy, because it's at the right price, is the Kia e-Niro at the moment, because it's got the best range, it's got the best goodies inside, it's got all the stuff inside, and that's 260. Yeah, 260.
260.
Yeah.
See, that's not far off a petrol range. Mine's
no, actually it's not.
Yeah.
It's because we tend to compare them often with diesel engines or diesel cars, which have the extra mileage. Whereas I'm just thinking, how many times does petrol fill my car up a month?
Hey, good news, JB. We're 27 minutes in, and I think they're changing.
It's really interesting.
No, it's really interesting.
And Dave, we haven't mentioned the bladder range, because I don't measure it. I've measured the range by bladders. You know?
I get
one bladder's about an hour and a half for me, and that's 60, 70 miles. That's fine. I can stop after an hour. Look to the loop, plug it in.
We are getting some silly comments, which I've got to read out, guys. Alan says, imagine the kids at a junction revving their engine. They'd have to open the doors and shout a lot, or growl.
I've got a funny story about this.
Go on then.
JB is a member of the Sussex EV group, and they have these gatherings every so often. And I went to one of them, and it was held at a sports centre car park, and it was quite hilarious because at the same time there were the Fiat 500 owners club was there as well. When all the EVs rocked up, all the owners of the Fiats got really upset and spent most of their time leaving by spinning their wheels and revving the nuts off their car. We're all standing there going, yeah, right,
Idiots.
okay, whatever.
I've got to do. Sorry, this is completely unrelated. Paul has just messaged Eric. Keep still. It looks like you're stroking Lee's leg.
No, he's not. He's actually stroking his own.
My own knee.
His leg.
And the reason being, actually, to ask Lee, it's gone down a lot.
That is almost a normal knee.
Almost normal. About 3-4 weeks ago, my right knee was the size of a football almost.
Like my head was when it swole up. Don't you start talking about your knee if I can't talk about my head.
Actually due to me falling off motorbikes. And apparently the pin moved that holds my knee together, which is a bit ouch. So I rub my knee when I'm sitting in a difficult position because it stops it hurting. That's all.
My ear moved up to the top of my head when my face swelled up last night.
All right. Apparently, if you break down, do you call the AA or an electrician?
Actually, I want to know the answer to this because this is something that may well happen in the not
That's a very good question.
That's Jerry being very naughty, but actually, it's a very valid point.
Of course it is.
You mean if you run out of battery, yeah?
Well, no,
if you just break down.
If you just break down, Oh, God, I just got a really silly story in my head. But anyway...
I was going to tell about our friend whose very expensive car broke down 3 times yesterday.
Yesterday, $150,000 car, and it broke down 3 times. Ha, 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 ha.
What do you do, though, if it just breaks? It just stops.
You're not running... You've got battery power. Because say you've just charged the car to full capacity. You've come out of the service station. You've gone 5 clicks down the road. Blip, stops.
Blip.
If you don't know what it is, you just call the green flag or someone. I think I use green flag.
Right.
And they'll come out and sort it out.
But
do you have to have special training to do it?
You'd have to have special training.
Yeah, no, all the AA guys know now that the key thing, under the bonnet, there's an orange cover which covers the main fuse. Yeah. And if you're any concerned about anything to do with the amount of current, I mean, we're talking about, even in my little Leaf, when I floor it, that's 40 kilowatts at maximum power. I mean... So that's an enormous amount of current.
Whoa, John, how many kilowatts?
40. The gauge,
what's that?
The meter gauge goes up to 40 kilowatts, and I've seen it when you absolutely floor it. That
can you get a shock
deliver that amount of current?
If 40 kilowatts would kill you.
So you can get
very
a shock
much so. That's why you have to isolate it. You do.
Yeah.
It's a proper thing. You know,
you have to wear
the
rubber
breakdown
shoes.
Guys have to isolate it.
Jeez, that is unbelievable.
While we're on the subject of breaking down and stuff,
yes.
The servicing on these cars, there doesn't seem to be much to service.
Well, no, we've just had...
Yeah,
you reading the script, David?
Yeah.
David, are you reading the script?
Yeah, I can see you, so I'm just reading it off my screen here.
You sneak.
But yeah.
You sneak. Well, yeah, because you've only got the motor and the wheels and brakes sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because the motor's a direct drive anyway, effectively, unlike an automatic or a conventional gearbox. So you've got so few moving parts. I mean, you've got more moving parts leaving the windscreen wipers on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of hydraulic for the brake. But to be honest, even the brakes, so I've heard people say they last 100,000 miles, one set of pads, because don't forget, you don't use the brakes to slow down. You use the regenerative part of the motor, turning the motor into a generator. You can watch the miles go back into the battery as you go down a hill. Fantastic, 10, 15 miles going back in on a really steep hill. So
I get that already. Yeah, so I know that.
So you don't need much of the pads don't wear out. And I'm just about to have some tyres on mine. That is going. I think they're going to be slightly more expensive because they've got to have low rolling resistance. You need an A-rated rolling resistance, which is a slightly more expensive tyre, I think.
Right.
Yeah, because it would be. That would be a slightly harder compound, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Why?
And then you've got to try and balance
if you
that with no noise.
Yeah, well, Lee's asking why, and the problem with modern cars, like my car, for example, it's got very sticky tyres for the summer. We have summer and winter tyres here, John, because of the sort of 2 metres of snow. Now, in the summer, I've got very sticky tyres. They're not anywhere near a Formula One sticky. They're more like almost like a wet weather tyre to a Formula One car, to be honest. But even those tyres are very, very sticky, whereas the ones on the EVs are very hard compound because then it doesn't stick to the roads much.
I understand.
Drain the power from the battery.
Drain the power, yeah.
But doesn't that affect the handling?
It's a compromise. Yeah, I think you're right. It's a. They are still sticky enough. I mean, you can take that thing around the corner and it's great because all the weight's really low with the battery being really low. But it sort of errs on the side of make the rolling resistance lower. You know, it's again, this is back to the why they're a bit ugly. And I will admit that the Leaf is a Marmite car. You either love it or you don't. But it is very slippery, so minimum drag. Those things are kind of important. Yeah.
Now, Dave, you're not reading out the questions, David.
I can do, if you like.
Garage mechanics will all have to be retrained. Of course they will.
Yeah. My local garage only has one expert in EVs, and mainly because he has to go in through the ODB2 port on the car and print off a battery condition and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to need new skills.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the price of an electronic car compared to the price of an ordinary car?
Not electronic.
Sorry, electric. I am so sorry. Electric car compared to the equivalent car as
Petrol.
a petrol. Yeah, what's the difference in
Yeah,
price?
I mean, a good comparison is because there's one of each. It's the Kia again.
Oh.
I think the e-Niro in its petrol form is less expensive than the all electric version.
How much less expensive?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's sort of $3,000 to $4,000, that kind of on a
that's a
brand
lot of
new one,
difference.
something like that. I'm only guessing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but over the course of your typical driver...
Yeah, but it's got less in it.
No. Listen, no, it's the batteries that are more expensive. But in the typical life of a private vehicle, over that period of, 3 to 5 years, you get your money back and some.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in not putting any fuel in. Yeah, absolutely.
And,
yeah.
of course, your servicing costs are going to be lower.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I think mine just had a service, £90. That's what it cost to service. Its annual service.
Lord.
In the UK?
You're joking.
Yeah.
Holy manoli.
350 quid minimum for service on mine in the UK.
Yeah.
If you have I can tell you, if you have a 5-year service on the top of the range Skoda Octavia, which is the business model here, it costs about 30,000 to buy, and the 5-year service costs €350.
That's what I just said, mine.
Yeah.
costs.
I get
Yeah,
that.
350
Yeah.
pounds. Yeah.
That's what
I think one of the other things.
£250. That's
Yeah.
more. That's my yearly service.
I know, but you think that the service cost of John's EV in the UK is a third of the cost of a service in Slovakia, which is ridiculous.
Can I ask
Even the big one, which is every 4 or 5 years, like you just mentioned, they do a really big one when they take it apart. That's 190. So
Oh
even
dear, oh
that's-
dear, oh
Blinky
dear!
heck.
Oh, heartbroken, aren't we?
Can I ask
Yeah,
a serious question?
Yeah, go on.
Right, we all know that electric and water don't mix. Can you
Yeah.
wash your electric vehicle?
That's a very good question, actually. Good question.
very
But
much.
the car, don't forget, has a complete 12-volt system. Has a 12-volt battery, and everything is 12 volts, except the traction battery. And the connections from the front of the car to the traction battery are well and truly protected. And so, but all of the things like the radio, the fans, the lights are all 12 volts because there's too much water. An average car has to go through for it to be at a higher voltage. But the traction battery is something like 350 volts, 400 volts.
See, that was an intelligent question.
It was actually.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
And it has an inverter on board that charges the 12-volt battery from the big battery.
Okay.
So your battery's always kept topped up.
Lee wants to know what happens to the batteries when they wear out.
Well, at the moment, I think Nissan certainly are doing a program where they take the old batteries and they take the cells out that are not 100% and can replace them. And then they're using the ones that are not 100% in something called power walls
Yes,
that
that's
you can
right.
have at home.
Yeah.
So you can use the old batteries again.
It's funny. Many years ago in Luton, I was good friends of a battery. Well, not manufacturer. He was. I mean, I'm trying to think how long ago. This was 40 years ago.
I know, and you've told the story every year ever since.
I know, but this was
Every
40,
week.
Every
week.
This was 40 years ago, and I thought this guy was a battery manufacturer, and actually he wasn't. He was a battery recycler, and he was recycling 40 years ago.
You don't need batteries on your bike.
With huge batteries for like lorries, the big.
Yes, and he used to give him a bang with a rubber hammer.
No. He used to discharge the battery properly, give him a charge
With a little bulb.
with a little bulb. Yeah,
A little bulby bulb.
And so the thing is, the point I'm making, Lee, is a lot of batteries can be, especially the car-type batteries, can be recycled much easier than the batteries you have in a torch or a mobile phone or stuff like that. They can actually be recycled, and that's the beauty of the Leclanche cell, which is what the batteries are based on.
I have another very serious, and I really mean a serious question here,
Go on,
which
then.
I think would affect everybody. When the problem with the electric car, right, I can see is this: that yes, it's very cheap to run. 30% of the cost of running a diesel car or whatever. But what happened in Britain is I personally was conned into buying diesel cars, like a lot of people were, because everybody said it was cleaner, it was cheaper, blah, blah, blah. I ended up and got a diesel car, diesel truck, etc. And then the price of diesel started to go up. Now, if we all change to petrol cars, to electric cars from petrol or diesel, isn't the price of electricity going to have to go up to replace the cost, the money that they've lost? They've lost all the money on diesel and everything. Why are they going to make it go up on electric?
I don't know how they can, because, I mean, you think about my car. I mean, I plug it in the garage at night. Yeah. I'm getting 14 pence a kilowatt. That's the cost of electricity where I live. Yeah. If they start ramping that up, they're going to start hitting everybody. They're going to hit everyone because everybody needs electricity.
Yeah.
So
it's going to damage the economy of Britain.
Yeah.
Well, there's a good point to be had here on eco-friendliness, because I made a phone call this morning because you guys were coming on the show. And by pure fluke, because I hadn't noticed them, as I went to the cryotherapy centre in Aqua City to get my knee fixed, as I went past, I thought, oh, look, there's 2 EV fast chargers.
Yeah.
Blimey, where'd they come from? And there is genuinely 2 EV fast chargers.
And there are some in the car park.
In the centre.
Yeah.
Now, the ones in Aqua City, for those who don't know the history of Aqua City, that is powered by a huge underground lake. And that provides enough power whereby they had to get some power back into the grid because they had too much power. And some of the water temperature they had to take down, so they were using electricity to actually bring the temperature of the water down. Now, what they are now doing, instead of chucking this energy away, they're actually doing it with the fast chargers in Aqua City at a fixed price, because that energy's there. And the reason they put them in, I found out this morning, was quite simply, they had complaints.
About what?
They had complaints that an eco-friendly centre that's won so many awards for being an eco... It was the European Eco, whatever it was, the Travel Awards thingy.
It's regularly won the
world's greenest hotel.
Right.
Yeah. And so the customers are going there for one thing, and they were complaining they couldn't recharge their electric cars there.
What an interesting point.
And I thought, blimey, I hadn't worked that one out.
No.
And I think because there is so much of a drive towards renewable energy, that's actually going to work in favour of the electric car.
I think that's a really good point. Quick point, how many electric cars are there in Britain now actually on the road?
Oh, God, I don't know the numbers. I know there's... I think the Nissan Leaf is probably the most sold in this country because they're making them in Sunderland. So
just a rough guide.
I don't know. I think it's still a tiny number in the UK. 2%, 3% of the total. It's something like that. It's very small still.
Okay.
Will they ever replace?
Norway's the place to go. 50%. I think they just hit slightly under 50%.
Another
new
question.
Cars are electric.
Another question for the experts: are electric cars car tax exempt?
Interesting.
Mine is. Yeah.
Is it?
Is that because it's old?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. They all are at the moment. I mean, to be honest, that is a good point. I mean, we still use the road, but maybe it's just encouraging people to buy them. So at the moment, no tax.
All right. The lovely Wendy Mills has joined us, says hi, Eric, and gives me some kisses. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Back at you. Okay. Now, going back to you guys, we got miles off the track here a bit, although we didn't, because it's lovely to have all the questions and keep them coming, please. You're most welcome. They've got a few 100,000 viewers. Oh, really? That's nice. The part of the reason behind this is you put these videos together with John being the lead expert and Dave being the assistant monkey. So
petrol head, please.
Oh, all right.
No, lead skeptic.
Lead skeptic.
Oh, I like that title.
What do you think, Dave? Next one?
I'll take that title. Thank you.
All right. Now, you came up with a name called Max Regen. Huh?
Yeah.
What's that?
Maximum regeneration.
Oh, blast!
It's when you're the opposite of full power on. The opposite is maximum regeneration. But it sounds like a name anyway.
I kind of like it's like Max Headroom. Yeah. Now you're showing your age now, John. Don't do that.
Sadly,
certainly are. Now, how did this sort of really come about that you got to the point of going, hang on, we're gonna produce, film and produce a series of road trips connected to electric vehicles?
I think it was because I'd seen so many videos on YouTube, and love it. Every amateur who's got a camera, go for it, because there's always good content there, and content is king. And I thought we could do something like that. I mean, Dave and I have known each other for years, and we've kind of worked in TV and know about the production values to make it hopefully look really smart too. Yeah. We thought, why don't we just put our take on an electric car and actually generate a bit of a debate. This is great. What's happening today? Lovely to hear your questions, because these are all the questions that you've got to be able to answer if you're an advocate, and they're really good.
John, don't tell him this. We'll keep this quiet, boys and girls. Don't tell him whatever you do. He's actually quite good at doing telly with a camera.
He is.
Yeah, he's quite good. But don't tell him that, for goodness sake. You'll never get him out
I'll
the door.
Keep it. Yeah. I'll keep it between us. Yeah.
You have to get one of those gull wing doors to get his head out of, otherwise he'll never fit out of the normal.
Mine. Yeah. How often are you doing these videos? Is it once a week or once a month or?
Well, we batched up 4 based on the trip to the British Motor Museum, and the week after. Couple of weeks away, we're going to try one on down to Wales. So, bearing in mind what people have told us about this one, we're going to try and incorporate that into the next one. A bit more about what we're doing, how easy it is to charge, and the costs as well. We haven't really done much on the costs, but I've got all the costs. Every time I charge, I get an email telling me £4, £2, £3.50, that kind of small costs, and we'll add it up and stick it on the screen as well, so you get a bit more of an idea what it really costs to run it. And have a laugh as well.
Actually, I'm going to drop somebody in the cart now, because our Stevie said, if you're doing a national road trip and come to Liverpool, then give me a call. What I think should happen is, if you go to Steve's house, he should allow you to plug in free at his electric point.
Oh, that'd be greite. Steve in Liverpool
will do that for you.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Steve, we're coming to see you at some point.
Quite seriously, let's talk about publishing these videos on the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com.
Can you not do that out of another point?
I'm just saying about the Consumer Watch Foundation. Right, that's it. I don't want some on now. You get lost.
Getting all stroppy now.
Hey, no. Let's just ignore Eric for a minute. I think this is quite interesting.
What a good idea.
Sake.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be a good idea. I think it's something of great interest to people. There is another question I want to ask, and these are things one of the reasons I think it is a good thing to put on the Consumer Watch Foundation, as we are about consumers. Why are the companies focusing on cars? Let me just run by you this little story very quickly. When we were last in Australia, we were in Fremantle, and we were sitting literally by the side of the road in a cafe within inches of passing buses. The reason we could do that was because all the buses were electric. Yeah. Why isn't Britain looking more at benefiting the transport
commercial
industry, commercial vehicles, rather than doing like poxy, stupid-looking little cars?
I think they are doing commercial vehicles. We were out last night, and the amount of taxis that are on the road, electric ones, is amazing.
Oh, no.
Everywhere we went were electric taxis, and the taxi drivers love them. I was talking to one not so long ago, and he said he'd never go back.
Really?
Yeah, he's quite happy with his electric cab.
Oh, of course, in London, they are driving for many hours, but it's small mileage.
Yeah, because
and they're hybrids, though, Dave.
Do they have to pay congestion charges?
No.
I don't know. Right. But they are hybrids. But the difference is that instead of a 2.5 litre diesel engine, it's a 1.5 litre petrol. And I met a taxi driver at one of these events, and he said, I never run it. I drive into town. Maybe if it's a long run in, I run the petrol to there, hit the inner zone, turn it off, run it all day without the petrol running. That'd be brilliant.
That is kind of interesting. Yeah. And so, I've seen the Scanias come out. And I mean, there's nothing stopping this going a bit further. We know there's been electric bikes and scooters and pedal-assisted battery vehicles for years and years. But if you got them all into that environment, and I'm no eco warrior, but my point is that at some stage, if you don't cut down the use of petroleum-based products, there isn't going to be any engines anyway. Because you've got nothing to lubricate or power them with.
Good point. But what about the production of the electricity to drive the cars? How are we going to create this amount of electricity?
Well, like in Echo City.
But fracking is one of the major things we're now looking to create electricity with, and that is one of the most dangerous things there is, surely.
Yeah, I think it is a good point. I think that the thing is, in this country, certainly in the UK, it's the peaks that are the problem. We run out of puff at the peak times, and maybe in the middle of a football match.
A big Coronation Street script, and the kettle goes on at the ad break.
Exactly. I think home battery storage at home, that's going to be the answer, because they're going to take out the peaks. And I think, according to, I can't remember, I read it somewhere in a kind of consumer thing. They said the UK could make enough current to fill every car if it was all electric. That is possible. But I think it's these
true.
peaks we've got to
shift. Wouldn't the cost of the electric go up, though?
Well, it might do. I mean, as I said, I pay more. Just down the road from me, there's something called a Genie Point, and it's in a Shell petrol station. And I go there regularly when I'm staying in London, as I am at the moment. I go there, and they charge me, I think, £1.20 for a connection fee, and then they charge me 30p per kilowatt. So compare with home, which is 14p a kilowatt, and I don't pay a connection charge. You have to pay more, but that's a rapid, again.
And it's
that's 20 minutes.
That's 20
30
minutes
to get to full.
That's a full charge.
Yeah,
it is. Whole 300 miles.
Yes.
Well, not in my car. My car's only a 4-year-old Leaf, so it does about 190 on a good day, 90 miles. So,
well, actually, this is a good point to bring up the fact that solar could be one of the amazing things here, but the stupid HMRC, the tax people, are actually wanting to put the VAT up on solar panels to a standard rate rather than leaving it at a low 5%.
Can you disguise it as a sunroof?
Well, no, not really, because you got VAT costs. So,
what sense is this? You know, why disincentivize someone to put a solar panel on their roof?
Absolutely.
I don't get that.
I think that's another campaign coming on there. I can feel one brewing. So to wrap this lot up, because believe it or not, we've been talking on air for 50 minutes.
I know.
I've just realised. Only because the clock's telling me in front of me. And I've got another show that's blipping at me going blink, blink, blink in the corner of my eye. Shameless plug department. Dave's good at this, John, so we'll let him do it.
Go for it, Dave.
Yeah. How do we find Max Regen?
Well, the easiest way is to go to our website, which is www.maxregen.co.uk, and that is spelled MAXREGEN.
No, it's not.
Yes, Max Regen.
No, it's www. Dot maxregen.co.uk.
There you go, works. Or you can go to YouTube and you can give up.
He didn't get that, did he?
It's a bit of a shock.
I now know why I stopped working with you. Or you can always go onto YouTube. All the videos are on YouTube, and that's where we're putting them. So if you find us on YouTube, and there's a link from our website, of course, if you go to YouTube and subscribe, then you'll get notified every time we put up a new episode in the early hours of Monday morning, if I'm still awake.
And on Twitter, it's Hello Max Regen. Instagram, hello_Max_Regen. And on Facebook, you are hello.maxregen. So that's the places to look at. And
don't forget the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com, because you've got to be on there.
And what we'll also do, Dave, is we'll put some direct links on the RTI fan pages and stuff for you as well, so that people can find out more about you. Guys...
Yes.
We're going to have to let you go.
You'll have to whiz off in your electric vehicle.
Oh, can I just say thanks, Eric? Thanks for the brilliant questions from you guys. I mean, they're really good.
No, they're not. No, JB, they're not me.
It helps move it on.
It's not me. It's the lovely audience you need to thank.
Well, they are amazing. I love the questions. They're really good.
There you go, lads. You can all pat yourselves on the back. Well done, you. No, John, I think it's a really interesting project.
It really is.
And the thing that I love about it is the fact that if you do something with humour, people will remember it 30 days later. If you just do straight news, you're lucky if it lasts 5 days. So by introducing the humour into it, and we know that Dave's a big joke anyway, so well done you for spotting that.
Thank you.
I should do a really good Basil Brush for that one. That was quite good even for me.
Can I make the comment that Steve said we should do wind power, and I think the last hour we would have generated quite a lot of miles. Thank you.
But it wasn't me talking.
No.
You see,
much either.
You were going to take a pop at me there, and it didn't work.
I wish I could run my car on wind, I tell you.
Yeah, only with Heinz. Sponsored by. No, all joking apart, the video is well produced and well shot. And because of the comedy, I tell you what, just go and have a look at it. You will learn stuff just because of the comedy factor in there. And I'll tell you what, Top Gear, you're rubbish compared to those boys. And absolutely rubbish.
And the other thing is, very simply, is that I came on here expecting to take the mickey out you mercilessly about electric vehicles because I felt I got no respect for them, no time for them. I thought I still think they're ugly, and that they are a pointless drain on society as far as getting rid of diesel. But now, having spoken to you and listened to what you've had to say, I think it's a very good idea.
And I've got to say hello to you guys from Jeffrey Carter, who's in the USA, North Carolina here. Good day, world, he says. And
hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, Jeffrey. Hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, Jeffrey.
And thanks to everybody else as well. No, guys, seriously, thank you ever so much. Dave, give us a recap on where we can find you.
www.maxregen.co.uk.
You're in trouble.
Yes, I see.
Yes.
It's not compatible with Steve's voice reader.
No, but I can tell you how to do that. That's easy.
Okay.
There's an easy little gizmo we can do that with, which would be a good idea. So run through the whole list again, Dave.
So there's the website, www.maxregen.co.uk. You can find us on Twitter. Oh God, I've forgotten them all now.
You just lead me and I'll do it for you.
We have a Twitter page, which is
Hello Max Regen.
We are on Instagram as well.
Hello _Max_Regen.
We have a Facebook page.
Hello.MaxRegen.
And I think that just... Oh, and there's the YouTube channel, of course, where the videos are.
Well, that's Max Regen anyway, isn't it?
Yes.
Not so difficult, that one. Okay, guys, got to run. Thank you ever so much for the extended time I've stolen from you. It's been great fun.
Really interesting.
We've learned a great deal. And I'm going to invite you back in about 6 months' time to tell me how it's getting on, how you're doing, and give us an update on the whole EV thing. Is that okay?
Cool,
we could possibly do it while we're on a road trip, and we can call you from the back of the tow truck that we'll be on.
Very droll, very droll.
Loving it.
Actually, that's not such a bad idea, is it? No. Do it live from the back of a car.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Maybe one episode, trying to push it as far as we can.
Yeah. You're on there, mate. Right, love and leave you. Thanks ever so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. There's JB and our Dave doing their stuff, as always. Lee, are you up to anything this weekend?
No, I'm just going to walk around with my frank side bottom head and drink copious amounts of beer to see if I can make it go down.
Right, well, I've got to tidy myself up.
Oh, well, no, I am. I'm going to an event and I've forgotten what it is.
Okay,
I'm going to think it, and we're going to be recording it and playing it on RTI FM in next week or the week after.
I
completely forgot about that. I'm sorry.
I did try to prompt you, didn't I?
But I can't remember what the event's called.
And tonight in Poprad?
There we are going to see Roman Petrovsky, who's appearing with a band called Zeus in Aegidius Square in the centre of Poprad. Everybody should join us because it'll be brilliant. Look, with
and tomorrow, my weekend's going to be completely taken up by the second Wiltshire arriving in Poprad. Have a safe journey over, Caroline and Harry.
Definitely.
And they'll all be going over to the Poprad English Club as well on the Wednesday night.
Looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah, she's grown up now.
I know, well, no, I was talking to Harry.
Oh, about Harry. Oh, okay.
I've met Carol.
Anyway, we better go. We'll love and leave you. See you all very, very soon. Have a great weekend. If you're in Central Europe, have a great long weekend, because that's what it is. And, well, there's just lots to do. Thank you so much for everybody contributing to the show this week. That was really fabulous. Thank you to JB and Dave for their time. It leaves me to say... I better get out of here, because otherwise that Steve will be driving his train down the track at me. Coming up next on RTI, it is none other than the other Steve.
From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.